Hi, this is Rachel Flowers, and you're listening to Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio. Security!
Rachel Flowers. I wonder if I didn't get taken out of here in like tie wraps, did I that night by any chance? Rachel Flowers. Security. Hello, everybody. It's 7 o'clock. It is Sunday evening. It is time for Rock On Radio. I am your host, Danny Coleman, and I am joined as always in studio by Engineer Art.
Hello.
There we go. And producer Claire has returned to the studio. Oh, we're on issues there with her, I think, tonight, Art, with her microphone. There you go.
Are you in one?
Ooh, well, we'll work that out.
Hold on.
We got to switch her around. There you go. Rock On Radio is brought to you by CPA Jody Weber, actress Eileen Sullivan.
Woo.
Oh, there you go. There's Claire.
Maybe I've returned or maybe I've not. Who
So,
knows?
maybe.
It's a guessing game.
It is. Who else is sponsors? Oh, O'Connor's American Bar and Grill of East Hampton, Mount Holly. The official caterers of the Rock On Radio Christmas Spectacular,
Which will be very, very soon.
December
Oh, you know it.
22nd.
Mhm.
A 4-hour Christmas extravaganza from
Woo.
7 to 11 p.m.
Which really means 5 hours.
No, let's stick to 4. I'm gonna go home and go to work.
See, last year it was going to be
the next
3
day.
hours and it was 4 hours.
Welcome to the Rock On Radio Christmas Marathon. Actually,
Bye.
and the people have responded because I put a blurb on
Yeah.
Facebook,
Mhm.
anybody looking to submit original Christmas music or remakes of, traditional standards of holiday tunes. And I'm not kidding you. I got to have about a dozen responses
Yeah, he sent me a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
already. Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
we have a whole new slew of Christmas music this
Mhm.
year, which will be kind of cool.
And the old slew.
And the old slew.
The
That's
old
right.
slew.
We'll be slewed.
Even Rick Winnow was saying he's practicing peace.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
something new going
That's
on.
nice.
Winnow
What's he
will be
thinking
here.
of, yoga?
It's on the cardiac arrest tour. Uh, Rock On Radio is also sponsored by No Knot Necklace Carrier, as well as Bridal Music.
Strings and flutes ceremony music.
That's right. Contact our good friend Michelle at bridalmusic.org for your next corporate event or wedding or any kind of ceremony of that sort. She plays the flute, but she also utilizes violins and cello. She's exquisitely talented.
Mm-hmm.
How's that? Who else are we sponsored by?
Johnny Orr.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I don't even know if he's still alive,
That's
John.
right.
Our
I
good
know,
buddy
where
John
is our friend?
Alberici. We haven't seen him in forever, but Johnny's Autoglass, as well as High Tech Electronics. They provide us with the safety and sound earbuds
Mhm.
that we give away at all our Rock On Radio happy hours. The next one is November 9th or 7th.
No, I was just saying, not
7th.
9.
November 7th. Well, you know why? Because it's at the Nottingham Tavern, which is located at 9 Mercer Street in Hamilton Square, New Jersey. So we'll be there hanging out. The band is Edith Peach, my two of my buddies from high school, and a keyboard player.
And
The
no-
one
and no-
buddy is a very very good studio session drummer who has played with the likes of Tony Bennett, Nora Jones, Lionel Hampton. And the other one is a bass player from a local band called The Dogs. And he's also done some acting work and some movies that you would recognize. So it's going to be an interesting night.
Nice.
And I know absolutely nothing about the keyboard player, so I can't sit here and talk about it.
And their name, and no one is named Edith.
Correct. None of them are named Edith.
No.
Who else sponsors us? Oh, Zen Archer Hot Sauce. DL Byron.
We always save him for last.
You do.
We do.
He's a
That's
Z,
right.
so,
Because
you
we
know, he's at
are
the
the
end.
only radio program sponsored by a Grammy Award winning hot sauce maker. Go figure. But DL is
You know, you have to diversify, man.
I guess you do.
You've
Yeah.
reached the pinnacle. You got to do something.
Well, he is a good guy, DL. You got to give him some more hot sauce, though.
Yes. we
Yeah.
do. Well, you need to make chili. For Christmas,
I made some chili. Well, there'll be chili at the Christmas
Ah,
party.
you're the
Crop
big
on
winner
chili.
again.
Yeah, did you win? You finally found out the result?
I won.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did win.
It's like passe at this point.
No.
It's like-
There was only like 4 contestants. So
You'd have to
5
build a room in
contestants
his house
the
for the
contest,
award.
so.
Still.
It was nice to win. I'm not poo-pooing it off. I'm very happy about
Nice. Cute little. You should have brought
Do you have to
your
build
little
a
thing
room in your house for the award, Chad?
it. Yeah, I got them in a Rubbermaid tote.
You should bring him in here and line him up.
You think so?
Sure.
We got Rock on Radio stickers.
We do.
I don't
And
want
then
to
you
detract from that or the fabulous array of candy that you have brought in there, Chocolate Eclair.
Yep. Back to my whole job.
What you got over there?
She's got
What do you got? There's M&M's,
Brought in
Starburst, Skittles,
some cookies. We got all kinds. What
peanut
is that?
butter, Snickers.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can throw that right in.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. He caught it though.
That was me jumping through the hoop for the peanut butter Snickers.
Peanut butter Snickers.
There's
All right.
peanut butter M&Ms.
Are we on YouTube tonight?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So look over.
You can go to the CO Radio page and click on the YouTube link, and you will see us. And I'll wave to you now. There we go.
You can try searching for Rock On Radio.
You can. That's it. You can do that. What else have we done? Oh, we had the Hopewell Hayride last night.
Yeah, that was fun.
The second one, which
was fun.
apparently went over very well.
Yes, you did a very nice job.
I still
MC.
call it the Hillbilly Hayride.
Hillbilly
I think we
Hayride.
should call it the Hoedown. So the Hillbilly Hoedown.
I want to call it Castlemania. That's
Kessel.
right. Do you smell what Al is cooking? we could do that. I didn't realize
He
Al
actually
was.
liked it. I told him that. He was like,
I didn't
Really?
realize he was the age that he is.
"Oh yeah,
He
Or
looks.
he was
he looks
lying.
younger than me.
yeah."
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
His hair is darker than
My
yours.
grandmother looked younger than you.
Oh. Exactly.
So, if you want to reach out to us, you can do so. We have multiple ways. We have a website, which is
DCROR.com, which stands for Danny Coleman's RockOnRadio.com.
either one of those things will get you there, and you can see us and see Rockdemonials from the 10th anniversary bash and all kinds of things that producer Claire puts on there to amuse you all
To keep you occupied.
or to make fun of me. Either way, it happens.
There is a method to our madness, yes.
I was a dancing fool last night at the hayride.
A thriller dancing fool, yes.
It's Halloween.
Every day is Halloween when you dance then.
This is true. What else? Oh, or you can reach out. You can find us on Facebook, Danny Coleman's Rock on Radio 2, the number 2, Danny Coleman's Rock on Radio. Where else? Deep breath. Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat are all at Rock on Radio. All one word, all capital letters. Or you can just do what I want you to do, and that's call tonight, 609-241-7103. 609-241-7103. If you want to join the fun, you can do so. And we will gladly entertain your questions. I don't know if we'll entertain you, but we'll entertain your questions, comments,
Certainly try.
and all that fun stuff for this man right here who has traveled 3 days by camel to get here, Mr. Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal. Dude.
He wins the prize.
Now, let me take you listeners through the phone conversation. So Chris and I talk, and I was like, okay, now the address is, all right, so where are you coming from? Well, I'm coming from Syracuse. Syracuse?
New
You know how far? It's like 5 hours. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Wow.
That's my life, just driving everywhere.
I think you get I had somebody drive down from Albany once.
Okay. Not as bad.
No, but I think you get the award
Really?
for driving the furthest voluntarily.
In a day, just for us.
Just for us.
Hey, it was a nice
Yeah.
day. It was an easy drive.
Yeah.
Can't complain, you
Well, he
know?
brought the sun because it was pouring most of the day.
Yeah. Well, I had a nice drive. I had no rain, so.
See,
Oh,
all the
good for you.
stuff.
And it's all up in New England, man.
Mhm.
You've come to us here through through Eugene Foley.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
How did this happen? Take me through it because I'm trying to remember. Eugene reached out to me,
Yeah.
asked about you,
Yeah.
and I said, sure.
Okay. Pretty
Come on
simple,
down.
really. Yeah.
hear you?
He's your PR guy? Is
Yeah.
that- okay.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is he still after he did this?
We have to wait 2 hours.
Yeah, So, are you a Syracuse native?
Yeah, well, actually, I grew up about an hour south of Syracuse in a town called Hamilton.
Well, that's
you
right
know
down the
Hamilton?
road here.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Where I
There's-
live.
there's one in New York with Colgate University,
Okay.
and that's where I grew up. And then I went to college in Boston, and then moved out to LA and played a lot in LA and did session work and did touring and stuff
Oh,
for
cool.
other artists.
All right. Anybody
And-
we know?
Well, I did some stuff for American Idol.
Nice.
Played the guitar for American Idol, and
Wow.
did some other stuff with some signed bands that had their moment on TRL and MTV and things like that, and but never really got to that.
Never took off.
Right? Yeah.
As well as they had hoped.
As they deserve to be.
Mhm.
They deserve to take off, and but it didn't really happen. And so I did that for a while, and then came back home for a little while, and decided to write some songs and do original music back here.
Wow.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now I have a cousin that lives in Syracuse,
Maybe he knows him.
but Syracuse.
I probably do. What's
You
his
might. Andy.
Oh yeah, I know Andy.
You know Andy?
Yeah.
See?
He's a
There you
good
go.
guy.
Andy's well known. Actually, he's got a bunch of chili containers for me. He wants me to fill some
I
of them
think
up.
Andy owes me money.
He might.
Just
He
remind
might.
him.
Yeah,
He
you
might.
should have told him to take Andy's containers. If they're
Oh, we
Actually,
yeah.
well, no, he's see, just to give those of you at home a perspective who may not be from the Northeast or may be listening in all kinds of places. My cousin Andy, he's originally from New Jersey. Okay, but he worked for the Secret Service when he was younger, and he's actually my mother's cousin, so he's my second cousin?
First cousin once removed.
No, I don't know, whatever. Yeah,
You
okay.
asked. That's
He's
what
my
it is.
cousin. Yeah.
Cousin.
So he, the job took him to Syracuse, and that's where he settled down, had a family, so on and so forth. But the winters in Syracuse are so bad that he actually winters in New Jersey.
Oh, good.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So-
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So, and he was just here this past week, and I couldn't hook up with him, but I'll be seeing him. He'll be back in November, so I'll check it out. But yeah, so okay, and our friend Jennifer,
Yes.
my
she's in
friend Jennifer,
Syracuse,
she
yes.
lives in
Mhm.
Syracuse as
Right.
well. Jennifer's actually from here, Heightstown, and she moved to Syracuse. So
On purpose?
yeah,
Her mom.
her mom.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, got it.
Her
She's-
mom
she's
recently
looking to-
passed away.
She's looking to probably come back south again.
Oh, okay.
Warm up.
Actually, speaking of passed away, I want to send our heartfelt condolences to Mr. D.W. Dunphy, whose father just passed away on Friday evening,
Mm.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think I saw
Friday
that
evening.
post, too.
D.W. is a good friend of this program. He's an excellent writer, and we are truly sorry to hear of his loss.
Mhm.
So we'll get that out there. All right. So, Chris, you do want me to call you Chris?
Sure.
Okay. And, maybe once we call him Rogers.
Roger that.
To see,
See?
that's how it happens. Okay, so you've got all this nifty background.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long has the new normal been in the picture?
Yeah, it's probably been about 3 years, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I was playing with other bands and writing and co-writing, and I just wanted to do something that was all my own. And so this started, and I've written a song a long time ago called New Normal, and I just
Okay.
like the way that sounded. I like that name. So
What do I got in my ears here? What the heck is
I
that?
don't know. I hear it too.
All right, go ahead. So, I'm
a
sorry.
couple of ghosts. In
Yeah, I thought we have those too.
there.
Um, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I just wanted to do something that was like kind of the full expression of what I wanted music to sound like that's in my head,
Mhm.
So yeah, this is like totally my thing, and just songs that I wrote, and sometimes they go a little long, a lot of extended jams, and because I was just looking for something where I could play a lot of guitar and do something that was live, would be completely different, could go anywhere on any given night. Wouldn't have to really stick to the same formula every night, different set lists. And I'm a big fan of like the jam band scene and things like that. So
like Fish.
yeah, I love Fish. Yeah, one of my favorite bands. And so something where in the studio the record would sound a certain way, and that would be on purpose. Something that I look at it kind of like a photograph compared to like painting. Like that's in the moment you're painting something, it could change. If the paint's still wet, you could move it around or whatever. But a photograph is just kind of like a static thing that So that's how I look at it. Is like in the studio, you want like just that photograph that's just a picture perfect thing of what you want it to sound like for everybody. But then live, the paint's still wet, and you can kind of move it around, and people are getting a different experience than that one static image. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well, I do actually. Fish, if you take a look. For those of you watching on radio, you can't see this, but if you take a look at that, see the Rock on Radio poster?
Yeah,
see the bottom left corner?
I do.
The gentleman right there where Claire is pointing?
Yeah.
His name is Michael Ray.
Michael Ray.
Michael Ray has been for probably the last 25 years or so a trumpet player for Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
Michael's also a local Trenton guy, so whenever he gets a chance, he just pops in here and hangs out sometimes. Nice. But he's actually recorded with and joined Fish multiple times.
Oh, that's
on
awesome.
Stage. Yeah. He's a great guy, Michael
That's
Ray.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's I get it.
Yeah.
I'm a musician myself.
Yeah.
I get it. So all right. So what is the new normal then?
What's it all about?
Yeah, I mean, I get the Chris Eves part.
Yeah, that's me. The new normal is just something where I felt like, and you hear that term a lot lately, especially, on the news and stuff, like, is this the new normal? And I think that has like sort of a negative connotation to it. Like we're sinking lower than we have before. But my idea for it was always like, why not do something better? We could make whatever is going on in the world better and make that the new normal, if you know what I mean. Like it doesn't have to be what it is. We don't have to accept things for the way they are. We can imagine them better and strive for that.
Okay. Now, is that how you write your material as well?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you are the principal songwriter.
Yes. Yeah, I write it all. Yeah. Yeah.
It bears your name.
Yeah.
Who's in the band?
Well, it's mostly me, and then it kind of shifts around. And basically, whoever's recording the stuff with me, and then always looking for new people to play with.
Nice.
So
there's a band like that around here. There's a very talented musician by the name of Chris Harford. Chris Harford goes out on the road as Chris Harford, and the Band of Changes, because he plays with somebody different all the time.
Yep.
All right, so you don't have a steady lineup. So
it shifts around a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but that seems to be the way it is.
Yeah.
These days. Back when I was a young musician.
Mm-hmm.
Way back in the dark ages.
I knew it was coming. In the dark ages. When I was a young musician, you were in a band. That was it.
Right.
You did not freelance, or if your band wasn't playing,
you weren't playing.
Yeah. And nowadays it's just,
well, you see a lot, especially with the live bands and everything. They all collaborate. They all of a sudden there'll be a side project band with a member from this band and a member from that band or whatever, and everyone's always trying to just do different things.
I guess with the advent of the internet, it's been a much more user-friendly environment for musicians.
Yeah, I think so.
Because anybody can collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do it without even knowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is what I've been doing when we're off. So that's kind of cool.
Well, and I think the other thing too is, it's hard to take a band on the road. It's expensive. And so I like to travel, and, if I can go do something solo, great, or if I can go to a different place and I know someone there that can play, then by all means play with me. And, I did that last night in Massachusetts. I was playing for somebody else, but that's just how it works. Like I'm coming through, I'll play with you. And, next time you're coming through, you play with me. And if you can't, I'll just do it by myself.
Or I'll find somebody who can. Yeah. And nobody seems to care. I mean, they don't get bent out of shape about it, which
Yeah.
is really cool. I mean,
Yeah, I think so. It's a cool kind of like camaraderie and collaboration thing. I think
yeah.
you'll always get something different too, which is nice.
True, because everybody puts their spin on it.
Yeah.
Or sound. or
Yeah,
technique, you know?
exactly. Every time I play with someone different, the songs are different, but in a good way.
I did a gig one time with a gentleman, a classic rock guy named Al Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Year of the Cat.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, Al Stewart. I did a handful of songs with him. And he had a guitar player he uses by the name of Dave Nachmanoff.
Okay.
Dave's from the Los Angeles area.
Okay.
And Dave will tour with him whenever he can, but when he can't, he uses somebody else. And I've seen videos, and it's as much as the song's the same, it's totally different.
Right. Exactly. But I think you listen to like some of the great artists like Sting or I don't know anybody of and their band changes and
They don't.
yeah they don't, but
Right.
the songs take on a different life and
Or a different feel.
yeah.
Very cool. If you're just tuning in, this is Rock on Radio. I am Danny Coleman. We have coming up shortly, we have Dave the Rave will be calling in with his rock and roll review, and that'll be around 7:30. At 8 o'clock, we have the Deuce Music Minute.
Yes, we do.
That will be this evening. We have another band from England, and I forget
She's
which one
female.
it is. It's a girl,
It's a
right?
female.
Okay, we have her coming up.
She's
What's her
Kayla.
name?
Kayla Grace.
Kayla. That's it. Kayla Grace. Okay, that's good because I forgot to
It's okay.
pull that up.
You
as
sent
we were-
you sent that to me. I'm
Oh,
all
good.
set.
You're
Yes,
on it.
I am
Art, you're on it too, right? There you go.
That's all that
Woo, we're
matters.
Right. So, as an artist, you've put out a disc with the new normal,
Yes.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only one? Are there more?
That's the only one right now. I'm making one right now.
Are you?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I sent some music ahead that's from the new one that isn't released yet.
Okay.
If you want to listen to some of that.
Would-
But
would this
so-
be a world premiere if we bought it?
Yeah, it would be actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we like that.
Nice.
But so yeah, just the one is out on iTunes and Spotify and physical discs too. But and this one should be coming out. I hope in December. That's my plan.
I hope.
Yeah. Well, that's the you get in the studio and it's like a time warp and you just like all of a sudden days turn into weeks.
Yeah, and then the problem that you have, I think, as an artist is that, let's say you started recording this disc 6 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you're nearing completion, then you go back and you listen to it,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh shoot, I could have done this different there.
Yeah,
do that
I
different.
try not to do that because I try to let things just be what they are in that moment and move on,
I
But
like
it's
that.
hard. It's hard,
Well, I like that attitude, because that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what you were feeling at that moment.
Right. Well, and that way I definitely have a little bit of like a perfectionist thing in me that I try to fight because well, I mean, because otherwise I'd never get anything done. It'll never.
Fire demons, right? It'll
Yeah.
never be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So I try to just let it be, do the best I can, and move on from there. And if the only thing is, like you said, if 6 months in and you go, oh, we're on a roll now. This stuff sounded really good. We should go back and fix that.
Fix that.
And it's not even fix it, but like we're just better at what we're doing right now. Like so, in a sense, I will go back and say like we're mixing this new stuff really well. I don't really want to change much of what I played or what I recorded, but we're really onto something mixing this. Let's go back and like just
And remix
revise
it.
this and bring it up to this other song, So, but again, I like to keep moving forward and not get stuck, trying
Anywhere.
to just
Yeah. I was in a band one time, a 4-piece unit, and we wanted to go in and cut a 3 or 4 song demo tape just to try and get some work.
Mm-hmm.
But we did it with originals,
Yeah.
original music. And that was probably about 7 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not finished.
See, that's the trap you
Mhm.
fall into.
I have it all.
Yeah.
I have it downloaded into my iTunes.
Yeah.
And I have it where I can listen to it anytime I want. Stuff sounds fantastic.
Right.
I mean, it's got a great sound quality.
Right.
The music, there was no screw ups.
So what are you waiting for?
But every time we'd go back,
Yeah.
the guy who was the de facto leader of the band was like, I want to switch this here. I want to do that. there."
Right.
dude, this is never gonna get done.
Yeah, I had a really good friend tell me once, and he's the best kind of friend because he just tells you like it is. You know, he doesn't like sugarcoat anything. And I was making some music, and I said, "Oh man, wait till you hear this. It's so much better than the last version you heard. You're gonna be so impressed." And he just bluntly said, like, "I'll be impressed when it's out there, when it's done. That's what will impress me is if it's done.
Yep.
You know."
Are you one of those songwriters that is if somebody makes a suggestion, you take it, or do you take it and just say, yeah, whatever?
If it's good, I'll take it. You know, but
No, I ask because a lot of singer songwriters or musicians that write their own music,
yeah.
you know, they equate a song to birthing a child.
Yeah,
And
I don't
I could
really.
talk. You could talk about your child, but nobody else can.
Right.
You
Oh
know
no,
what I mean?
yeah, totally. I mean, I'll take suggestions as far as like that verse is too long, or you know, and I'm aware of those kind of things, like cut down this section, cut this down. I don't really take a lot of advice as far as like change the lyrics or things like that. You know, I like to just do my own thing there. So,
Okay.
but yes, I'm open to like things like that. I like hearing criticism, you know, and hearing how other people hear it. You know,
Well, that's the key.
I'm not too precious with it.
because you're always going to like it,
Yeah.
other than picking apart technical
Right.
things that you know could be different.
Right.
But if nobody else does, then
Right. Exactly.
you're gonna have a whole case of discs sitting in your closet.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I gonna do with these?
Well, you know, I just recorded a song, and it was gonna be on this record, and I played it for my wife, and she was like, "Man, I'm just not feeling it," you know, and so it probably won't go on the record. You know, I'm open to that. I'm not precious about things. You know what I mean? Like,
I actually just interviewed a jazz artist from New York City,
Mhm.
Audrey Silvers. We'll be talking to her next month. Actually, she'll be
great.
calling in, and her most recent record is called "Let My Heart Know."
Mm.
And she said she had done it, recorded it, and then she walked away from it for a year because she just wasn't happy
Yeah.
with her vocals on the entire album. It was
Right.
missing something. It was,
Mhm.
you know, and she revisited it
Mhm.
a year later and realized why she wasn't happy with the way it sounded because she was too worried about the technical aspects.
Yep. Mhm.
So she went in and just
Just
sang.
did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she said, I love it. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it much more now.
Yeah. You can get stuck in the studio just overthinking things. I know I do.
No.
And so and then, you know, I'll start listening to it too much, you know,
Mhm.
over and over again. And then it's diminishing returns. You start hearing all the problems, take a break from it for a couple of days and come back and you're like, oh, this is fine. I don't know what I was worried about, you know.
It's like saying a word over and over. And
Yeah.
over. It doesn't sound
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Road, yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
See, there's something to be said for pronunciation.
There's everything to be said. You just don't say it. Mr. Anticon.
Can you tell they give me a hard time?
I can see that.
Well, say epitome.
Epitome?
Exactly.
Mm,
Esophagus, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Esophagus. Wow.
You never heard that one?
I did now. 609-241-7103 if you want to give us a call to talk to Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal. We're expecting a call shortly from Dave the Rave and his rockin' review. Once that's done, we're going to get to some of Chris's music. And we'll start right off with whatever he wants. Because that's how we operate.
Perfect. Love it.
Who's your favorite band?
Fish.
Other than you.
probably.
Oh, just Fish? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jam band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go. See?
Ding, ding, ding.
There he is.
Yay.
This is our man. Hello, welcome to Rock On Radio, Dave the Rave.
Hey, rock and roll people.
What's happening, buddy?
Not much, not much. Just a lazy, rainy Sunday with my beautiful wife.
Nice.
And I have the pleasure of talking to Danny Coleman, Rock On Radio.
There you go. We love that. This is not my beautiful wife. Wait, that's a talking head.
Oh, no.
Sadly, it is. Hi, everybody in the studio. How you all doing?
Good.
Say hi to Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal, Dave.
Say that one more time.
I said, say hello to Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, Dave. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm happy to be talking to you, hanging out with Danny tonight.
Now,
Cool.
Chris drove
Okay.
all the way down from Syracuse, my friend.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a haul. That is a haul.
You think?
Listen, if you need to take a bathroom break on your way past Yonkers, give me a call.
Yonkers.
Yonkers.
There he is.
We love Yonkers.
Oh, we do. All right, Dave the Rave, what do you have for us this week?
I've got two big shows. Both of them are at the Garden. Coming up first, we've got Bob Seger, Wednesday, October 30th, 7:30 p.m. It's Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Tickets are still available. The reviews I read I haven't seen this show, but I've read good reviews. The show is entertaining, it's high energy, and his voice is in good form. So I'm definitely recommending to your listeners. It's part of my Dave the Rave's Rock and Roll review for tonight, October 27th. Go with Bob Seger, Wednesday, October 30th at Madison Square Garden. That wasn't a tough decision. That was a tough decision because I also had on that night up at the Capitol Theater, wow, his name just shot out of my head, Elvis Costello.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
But go ahead.
I said, uh-oh. Elvis Costello.
Yeah. Ultimately, I had to go with Bob Seger. I felt that was the stronger pull
Well,
for Wednesday night.
have you ever seen Bob Seger?
No, but I'm
I
a fan of his music.
saw him twice back in the early 80s, and he was absolutely fantastic. Matter of fact, I'm going again Friday. His very last show on the tour, his farewell tour, is in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. I'll report to
Oh,
you.
wow.
How's that?
Wow, you know what? I tip my hat to you, Danny. You threw something out there that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, it's his last show on the tour. But
Wow.
yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it. So
But what's the date of that?
November, it's Friday the 1st.
First.
November 1st.
Good for you.
Oh yeah.
Good for you. Look at that. Look at that. You know what? I should have expected that. Danny is on top of his game.
I don't know about that.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
gosh. And Elvis Costello. I saw Elvis Costello in the Attractions back in 1978 or 79.
Wow.
At
You must have been about 10.
yeah.
Oh, you want to get on his good side.
No, I was actually a freshman or sophomore in high school. Probably a sophomore in high
It was
school.
like 100.
Yeah, I was like 100.
was
I was
like
in my third year of freshman year at high school. But I saw Elvis Costello and the Attractions at they're at Princeton University, and there's two gymnasiums there. There's the big one, Jadwin Gym, which holds thousands of people, and then there's the smaller gym on campus, which is the equivalent of like a high school gymnasium, holds about 500 people. Dillon Gym. And Elvis played at Dillon Gym.
Wow.
And when I, got there to get in line, I was totally out of place. That was back during the height of the punk rock days, and there's a whole bunch of people look like they fell face first into a tackle box. They had hooks and studs and stuff hanging from their ears, and oh my gosh, leather jackets with safety pins. I mean, I was like, oh.
Did you have a magnet?
And we got that right. Thank God I didn't. And we go in, and he had an opening band. And their name was, and I still remember this, they were the Rubinos. And
Wow.
they did one song that anybody would recognize. They did a remake of the Archies, Sugar,
Oh, yeah.
Sugar.
Mhm.
Okay.
Wow.
Then they were booed off the stage. And Elvis came on and played for 55 minutes and walked off. No encore, nothing.
Oh.
Wow.
How was his show?
It was during the what the heck's the album? Angels Want to Wear My Red Shoes. What the heck's that album? Oh gosh, the show was good, but it was just short. He didn't even play an hour.
Wow.
So of course
Well,
he's
that's,
different
you know,
now.
yeah.
But, yeah.
Elvis has always been part of the Cool Kids Club, so that's the way you treat your audience, you know.
I guess. But I've heard he's moody, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, Dave the Rave. Well, thank you, sir.
Danny, hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Another one.
You got another one?
Yeah.
You got
I
a third?
didn't. I said that it was a hard decision to make, but I didn't do Elvis. I went with Bob Seger, which means I still have one more. And that one more is the very next night at the Garden, Thursday, October 31st, Halloween, Madison Square Garden, in the heart of Manhattan on 34th Street, 7 p.m. Dead and Company.
Oh.
You're into the Dead, and you want to have a groovy evening. By all means.
They'll be
There
doing.
you go.
They'll be
There's your
doing a
show.
magic cow out there.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Loretta was asking you to dance. There you go. There's your magic cow.
Who's asking me to dance?
Loretta.
Oh, get back, Loretta. That's right.
We missed your octopus.
Oh boy. All right, so you got the Dead and both shows at the Garden, Madison Square Garden in New York City, which is
Yes, sir.
if you're in this area, it's the easiest venue to get to. Even though it's right there in what's that, Herald Square, right? 34th Street, that area.
Right.
You get off the train, you walk upstairs, you're in the Garden. You don't even have to go on the street.
Ferrari?
Yeah,
Career.
fantastic.
Hey, Danny.
Yes.
Real quick, because I saw it come across the wire today. Just a moment for Paul Barriere. He was 71, and if you don't know who he was the guitarist and vocalist for Little Feat.
Oh, I saw
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's
he
right.
passed.
He passed away too. Yep.
Yep. And I just wanted to, I'm a big proponent of showing respect to rock and roll people that came before us. That band definitely influenced my guitar playing and my love of rhythm and mixing a bunch of different genres together. And I know as a drummer, you could probably appreciate them too.
Oh yeah, love Little Feat actually.
But I want to thank you again for another great segment and allowing me to come on each week and do my little thing here. I love doing Dave the Rave's rock and roll review for your rock and roll listeners. And I appreciate you, Danny, for letting me get my voice and my name out there.
Wow, that's all right, Dave the Rave. We love you, man. Keep
right.
it
Rock
happening.
on, man.
Rock on.
Rock on.
There you
Good night,
go.
everybody.
Good night, Dave.
Dave the Rave Rock and Roll Review. Bob Seger at the Garden on the 30th of October, and Dead and Company at the Garden on the 31st. You got to say it like that if you're from here. Garden.
Yeah.
Garden. Kind of like a mixture between New York and Boston.
I thought it was like Irish. The Garden. Oh, that sounds Irish to me.
We had to satisfy
Brown sugar,
Loretta.
wasn't it? Woo-wee.
It's terrible what they do to me. All right, if you're just tuning in,
It's like
this
a
is
trained
Rock On
monkey.
with the cymbals.
Yeah.
You
Rock
do.
On Radio.
Monkey.
I am
Not my
Danny
circus, not
Coleman.
my monkey.
That's it. I am Danny Coleman. Our guest tonight is Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal. At 8 o'clock, we have the Deuce Music Minute. We'll be featuring Kayla this evening. But right now, we're going to do some music. Would you like
Great.
us to go off of the,
Sure.
or would you like to go off of that?
Let's start with the record.
Which one?
Okay.
There's a song called Anything But Ordinary.
All right, you want to talk about it?
Sure. It's about my wife, sort of. Like,
Uh-oh.
yeah. Well, no, in a good way though. No, well, you know how sometimes people will doubt themselves or think they're not, what you see them as.
Okay.
So it was a song about how she doesn't always see herself as this wonderful person or this wonderful woman, but through my eyes, she's always that.
That is a great save.
Yeah.
Great save, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
'Cause
so
I was
that-
going to say, it's about my wife, sort of. It's like,
But it's applicable to just anybody that doesn't feel as great as other people see them.
okay, and it's called
Anything But Ordinary.
Anything But Ordinary here on Rock On Radio. Chris Eves and the New Normal.
She goes, no one else can follow. She hides her secrets under lock and key. And no one knows why she disturbs the world around her just to prove her insecurities. Cause when she tells herself that she'd rather be someone else, I just want to live and know to me. She's on a movie screen, picture in the magazine of their fantasy. Oh, she's secret and good to keep. Promise she will look so much as she sees. That she's everything but ordinary. For me to tell two different stories, just to think on what you already believe. But how could she ever curse the same reflection I could only call a masterpiece? Sometimes all her fears make her wish she could just disappear. She'll never be without both of me. She's on a movie screen, a picture in a magazine of their fantasy. Oh, she's secret and good to keep. Promise she will look so much as she sees. That she's anything but ordinary. Picture in a magazine of real life fantasy. Oh, she's serious and oh, that she looking through my eyes, she sees that she's everything but ordinary.
Chris Eves and the New Normal here on Rock On Radio, and the song called
Anything but ordinary.
Beautiful. I like that because it's
Thank you.
upbeat.
Yeah.
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 You know, usually when people start off the thing, well, this song's about my wife. Even if they say sort of, it doesn't matter.
I was playing with a guy last night and he said, "This song's about my wife. It's a blues."
You know, you can't, and everything turns out to be these like slow, sappy,
hmm
you know, so it's very cool to hear a nice upbeat tune.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Do you have websites, social media?
Yeah.
How
it's
do we
Chris,
find you?
Yeah. Chris Eves and the newnormal.com. And that has pretty much everything there that you can, branch off to, like YouTube and Facebook and everything. But that also, you could search youtube.com/Chris Eves and the New Normal. Same with Facebook. I think they're all Chris Eves and the New Normal.
How many YouTube videos do you have?
Oh, I don't know, maybe like 20 or 30, something like that.
Wow.
But I'm always adding a bunch. I actually got into this thing a couple months ago, and I just call it the one man jam band. And so, and I just do this in my basement, but in my basement I have a little home studio, and I got a drum set up, and I got pretty much every instrument. And so I record every part of like a Fish song or a Grateful Dead song, or I did a Stevie Ray Vaughan song, and I'll play all the instruments and then sync it all up with the video and everything and sing everything and put that all together. And it's just me playing, a cover that I like. So I have a bunch of those on YouTube. I've done one of like Zach Brown Band, and I did one. I think, remember that song TLC Waterfalls? It was like from the 90s. But anyways, so I did that. I'll just do whatever seems fun, I think,
that's okay.
yeah. So, so that's on YouTube. People can check that out. And same with Facebook. I'll post them there too. Tour dates and, when I'm playing and stuff like that. I also started a cooking segment on my Facebook page.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I call it Cooking Without a Clue. And it's basically, those copper pans that say that nothing will stick to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I started this thing where I was like, let's see what will stick to it. And, when they're brand new, nothing sticks to it. So I melted a bunch of Jelly Bellies onto it, and I made a jelly bean sandwich, put that on some ciabatta, and I tried that. It was not good.
I was just saying.
No. So that's basically, it's just me experimenting with things that are terrible and no one would want to eat. So the other day I made one that was basically chicken, burn cheese. I like to burn things in this pan. And then I just crumbled up some Cheez-Its, let that burn in with it too, and then put that over a bed of rice. Cheesy chicken Cheez-It surprise is what I call it.
You need a copper pot, man.
Copper pot. But the thing, those things though, they don't last. Everything sticks to it now, so it's not worth it. But
You've taken the stick off of it?
yeah, I've really abused it with
Deep
jelly.
Teflon,
Yeah, with jelly beans and all that stuff. So if you go on my Facebook page and follow me, you'll see me just cook weird stuff. And,
So essentially, Chris is telling us he can't wait until Easter we can get more jelly beans.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What made you want to? I mean, all right. What were you drinking when you were sitting around and deciding, you know what? I'm going to burn jelly beans.
Well, you see those infomercials all the time, and they're like, well, they burn candy wrappers on it and stuff. So I was on the road. I used to be in a band called Floodwood, which is a bluegrass band, and it had members from the band Mo and Trey Band, which, Trey from Fish, the guitarist. His bass player is named Tony Markellis, and he was in Floodwood. And so we'd be driving somewhere. We're talking about the copper pans. He's a real chef, and he knows his food. He's got a real good palate.
He takes care of his pans.
Yeah, he does. Yes, exactly. And so we were talking about that. He's like, I'd like to try one of those. It doesn't look like anything will stick to it. So I bought one to see, and I made that video for him. I was like, look, jelly beans don't stick to it. And so that's how that all started, because we were just wondering if it was for real.
See?
Yeah.
He's a real chef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real radio. I have to relay this story. Just indulge me.
Go for it.
30 seconds. We do this thing. You just mentioned bluegrass. We do this thing now. We just started. This last night was our second one. We pre-record a show in a small town here in Jersey called Hopewell.
Mm-hmm.
Very quaint old town. They do this thing called the Hopewell Hayride.
Yeah.
It used to be the Heartland Hayride. It was out of Sargentsville, which is up near Flemington, New Jersey, up the northern western part of the state. And they kind of lost their venue. And when that went down, the radio station that was broadcasting it live went down. It was an FM station out of a town called Stockton, WDVR. Right? Great people over there. I know a couple of them, nice guys. We picked it up for them. We secured a venue for them. We secured, we're pre-recording it. It could be heard here Friday nights at 6:00, right, Art? Where you can go to the COA radio page and you see, go down Hopewell Hayride. IMC the thing, depending on who you talk to, very well or very poorly.
He did very well.
And a guy comes up to me last night during the intermission. He says, "Excuse me, I notice whenever you say it's going to be on the radio, you never give a frequency." Now, the crowd, you have to understand that the majority of the crowd is probably 70 or older, right? If the average age has got to be 70 to 80 years old, I would say, somewhere in this range. And they're faithful followers of this bluegrass, old-time Nashville-style country music. And the guy, I said, well, that's because it's on internet radio. And he says, "Oh, so it's not on Real Radio." I said, "Well, it's Real Radio. It's just over the internet. I go to a station." And
Yeah.
No. I said, "Yes." And he looked at me. He says, "If I can't listen to it in my car," I said, "But you can. You just download the app. But that's not the radio."
You can't listen to War of the Worlds. It doesn't mean it's not real.
Exactly.
And
You can't listen to it on demand on the radio either.
so he looked at me and he says, he shakes his head and very condescendingly just kind of looks at me and he's like, "That's not Real Radio." And as if I was bothering him, he goes to walk away. And I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Every real radio station, major AM or FM radio station that you listen to is also simulcast on the internet." So the only difference is you don't lose us 50 miles away from where you
Right.
live.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
And he just looked at me and walked away and nothing more to say to me. But he was not the least bit nice, and he was not the least, but he wasn't nasty, but he was just very, and one of the things that we struggle with is that here being an internet radio show, over the years, I've been told that it's not legitimate. I've been told that, what else the other guy? It's not real radio. That's the key. Real.
I'm not taking
radio.
it personal from somebody who can't set the clock in the VCR.
Correct. Who still has a VCR?
With a tape player.
So
Probably got a hee-haw.
when you said real chef, I was thinking, well, I'm a chili chef, I guess, right?
You are.
I
Very
make
chilly.
Chili? Yeah, correct.
I might do a chili
Are you?
segment.
A chili
yeah.
segment? Yeah,
Why
you
not?
like chili?
Kitchen
I do
sink
like chili, but I would probably mangle the recipe and put like Lucky Charms in it or something just to be weird.
Yeah. Well, that's like kitchen sink.
That's
chili.
Oh yeah. Throw whatever you
I think
want.
you should make chili with the Red Hots, man. The Red Hot candy.
Oh, see now you're on my level. That's what I want to do.
They would probably melt like
They
the
would
jelly
melt.
beans.
They would melt. Yeah. Ooh, that's a great idea.
All
Melt
right,
them
here you go.
first. Throw
Let's go for hot, man.
them in.
And then you wait till they cover the entire
Throw in a little
bottom
Zen
of the pan.
Archer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some Zen Archer hot sauce. That's right. DL Byron actually won a Grammy for writing Pat Benatar's Shadow of the Night.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. He's like, they showed up. I didn't even know. He said they showed up at my door. There's a box. I open it up. Oh, it's a Grammy. That's a true story. That's what he told me. Now he makes hot sauce. Go figure. Yeah. So,
With red hots.
right. 609-241-7103. If anybody would like to call in and talk to Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal, let's do some more music. What do you want to do?
Let's listen to the one that's called We've Only Got Goodbye.
We've only got goodbye.
That's another new one coming out on the record. This one's more of like a.
It's a world premiere.
It is.
Premiere. Okay. So, okay.
This is more of like a bluesy thing, pop blues kind of thing. Yeah, is that a genre? I don't know.
Could be.
It is now.
It is now. Okay,
I get it. Whatever you want it to be.
there you go.
Pop blues jelly bean.
Anything.
Oh yeah.
is-
Let's see if it'll stick to the pan.
That could be like his blues name. You take your first name, you take a debilitating disease, a fruit, and your last name,
Well,
right?
there you go.
So you could be like Chris Jelly Bean Blind Lemon.
I like that.
See? Blues are my favorite
Oh, great.
genre.
Okay, great.
As a musician, my favorite to play and my
Okay.
favorite to,
Well, it's
listen
not technically a blues, but it's got like a Stevie Ray kind of guitar thing going on in it.
to. All right, and it's called
We've Only Got Goodbye.
Chris Eves and the New Normal here on Rock On Radio, and his song called We've Only Got
I should have been alone. Calm down now after all the shit you put me through. Say love I can lean on. I've been carrying this weight too. I don't know why you're so surprised now that the tables have turned. You play with fire. Now Now tell me, did you really think you never get burned? I'm gonna waste my time getting older. Then you make me a fool one more day. Go ahead and cry on someone else's shoulder. We've only got goodbye left to say. You use words like they were weapons, 'cause I knew they'd come me just the same. Now I won't be around to let them. Till next time you feel like practicing rain. I don't know how I could lose myself in you like that, but damn, it feels good to finally go and take myself back. I'm gonna waste my time getting older. Then you make me a fool one more day. Go ahead and cry on someone else's shoulder. We've only got goodbye left to say. I don't waste my time getting older. Then you make me a fool one more day. Go ahead and cry on someone else's shoulder. We've only got goodbye left to say. I ain't gonna waste my time.
There he is, Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal here on Rock On Radio. I like it.
Thank
I like
you.
his stuff, Chris.
Very
Thank
good,
you.
yeah.
Good stuff. Now you said you're doing that in the studio.
Yeah.
Or in Syracuse.
In Syracuse, it's
Oh, okay.
a studio called More Sound.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Give
do
him
you,
a little plug.
Yeah.
what do you play guitar
I play guitar.
and
I play drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, saxophone.
multi-instrumentalist?
Play a lot of different instruments. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right, this is Rock On Radio, but right now it is just about time for the Deuce Music Minute here on Rock On Radio. Our good friend Rob over in the UK, the man behind Deuce Music. Any musicians that are hearing this want some representation or want to get their music out there, just contact Rob at deucemusic.com. I believe it is. Let me scroll up, make sure I have that correctly. Yep, Rob at deucemusic.com. Tell him you heard about us on Rock On Radio. And who knows, maybe Rob can help you out as well. However, the Deuce act that we'll be featuring this week is singer-songwriter Kayla Grace. She's based out of Watford, England. And from what I'm told, I've been told this before. Actually, no, I haven't. But this is
You've told yourself.
I told myself earlier this morning, having developed self-sufficiency at an early age due to her parents having to focus most of their time with her sister, who is a special needs person. Kayla quickly learned the harsh realities of life way before her friends. With a past of severe bullying, toxic relationships, and manipulative friends, Kayla releases her new single called Spoilt Brat, Spoilt T. Spoilt brat. Described as having a melancholic feel, contrasting the facade of strength. You can check this out right now here on the Deuce Music Minute. If you want to find out more about Kayla, you can go to her Instagram account, which is instagram.com/Kayla Music, Kayla, Kayla Music. And right now, we're going to do Spoilt Brat here on the Deuce Music Minute with Kayla Grace.
I told you not to worry, hope you worry now. You built up all these bridges, but I burned them down. I wish that you were smart enough to figure out that we're done. I wonder why you're missing me, I guess you must be lonely. You can't join the company if you think that you owe me. I wish that you were smart enough to see how much you owe me. We're done. We're done. Little girl, what's it like in the real world? You told me that you're happy, but you seem a bit disturbed. Spoiled brat, funny that you try to run back. You're skating on thin ice and it's just about to crack. Oh, tell me why the hell you're such a spoiled brat. Crying to your mother, maybe she will bring me back. But she's the one who made you such a spoiled brat. I wish that you were smart enough to realize that we're done. You seem a little pissed you didn't get what you want. I bet you didn't want me to end up in fun. I wish that you were smart enough to see that we're done. 'Cause we're done. 'Cause we're done. Little girl, what's it like in the real world? You told me that you're happy, but you seem a bit disturbed. Spoiled brat, funny that you're trying to run back. You're skating on thin ice and it's just about to crack. Oh, tell me why the hell you're such a spoiled brat. Wonder why you're missing me, guess you must be lonely. Trying to join a company if you think that you owe me. I wish that you were smart enough to see how much you owe me. We're done. We're done. Little girl, what's it like in the real world? You told me that you're happy, but you seem a bit disturbed. Spoiled brat, funny that you're trying to run back. You're skating on thin ice and it's just about to crack. Oh, tell me why the hell you're such a spoiled brat.
There you go. Kayla Grace here on Rock On Radio, the Deuce Music Minute. You want to give us a call tonight and see, you said you brought CDs along with you.
I
right?
did, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Do you have one handy?
Yeah,
That we can, go ahead. Why don't you get that while we're,
Yeah.
I'll put it on display so the YouTubers can see it.
I thought we were YouTubers.
Well, they're
They're
watching us.
YouTubees.
They're YouTubers.
YouTube.
Let's see.
Now I can't say it again.
Chrissy, whoa. Was this like a, what were we doing? there? Was this
Optical
some
illusion.
sort of, I was going to say, yeah.
Ooh.
Some sort of
Ooh.
civil defense drill.
Yeah. That's cool.
Here, I'll give you that so
Yeah.
you can take some pictures of that. We'll post it out here so that people can see it on YouTube. But you've got our
Yeah.
friend Joe Patillo.
Yes.
Don't let him know I told you he was a friend.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, you know how
we
he
can-
gets.
Yeah, I know.
And they don't like try and talk to me and stuff.
we don't want. We don't like.
we don't want Joe
we
to
don't want
talk.
to-
No.
No. So, hold on a second. I had it. Now I don't have it. There you are. Okay. So Joe today posted that there is his Asbury Park Riot, Redemption, and Rock and Roll, which is all the Upstage All Stars, and it's a movie about Asbury Park, and it was in theaters
Yes.
back in April. We had him in, and now from the 1st to the 14th of November, he is going to have it live. It's going to have not live streaming available. So today you can go out and for $10, $9.95, you can go to Apple iTunes and download. It is coming to digital sale today, and it is all of these are all what it is, but the film is supported with Jersey Mike's. And
Oh, yeah, that's right,
it's
Jersey.
going to be, yep,
Mm.
it's a time capsule of the club, which united both sides of the tracks in Asbury.
Yes, it did.
Active
Now,
Crucible.
the Upstage Club in Asbury Park was on Cookman Avenue
Mhm.
near, not Bangs. Was it Bangs? Oh, Cookman
West
Avenue.
Bangs?
I can't remember.
Mhm.
Cookman, it's there, or what's left of it. It's actually been closed for years. They just sold the building, but it was run by the Potter
Potters.
family. And they created an environment back in the 60s, 1960s, where musicians could come hang out and jam.
Cool.
And Joe Patillo
Mhm.
was one of those musicians who would go there.
Yeah.
He was
Southside
actually
Johnny,
Southside Johnny,
Bruce
Bruce Springsteen, our
Steve
buddy
Van
Vinny
Zandt.
Vinny Lopez,
Mhm.
Stephen Van Zandt.
Mhm.
A lot of these, the Asbury Park
Yeah.
luminaries. That's
Yeah.
where they formed bands. They jammed with
Wow.
each other. They got to know each other. They found various players. And Joe's friend did a film on it. It's called
Mhm.
Asbury Park Riots, Redemption, and Rock and Roll.
Mm.
Because during that time at the club in the late 60s, 67 or 68, Asbury Park and Trenton, New Jersey,
Mhm.
both had race riots.
Oh yeah.
And it was a very tumultuous time, lots of turmoil. But like Claire just said, the Upstage Club united both sides of the tracks.
hmm
Because if you go to Asbury Park today, it is still very much a tale of two cities.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
everything
That's
to the eastern side of the railroad tracks has been redeveloped, and businesses are thriving again.
Yeah.
And that's all towards the Atlantic Ocean. Right. Anything on the other side of the tracks is still, very downtrodden. I
Mhm.
guess is a good way to say it. Has not.
Yeah.
The development hasn't pushed over there, so it really is like two
Yeah.
separate things. And this movie kind of
Yeah.
addresses that, and rock and roll and redemption. The music has literally brought music, put Nashville back on the map.
Right.
It has done the same for Asbury Park,
Oh
New
wow.
Jersey.
Cool.
So it's a great film. Joe was one of the producers or
Mhm.
the executive producer. Joe's a good friend
The
of this
driving
program
force,
and,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
ours. And it's a great musician in his own right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm. So anyway, so pre-order sales today only is $9.99 in North America, and the link is out there. It's actually on Backstreets Magazine. We put
Okay.
it out there on Twitter, but the event is here to if you want to just say you're going, and then you can download it from iTunes. And if you download it today, it's only $10.
Perfect. Do we have the lineup for Cafe Artiste this week?
I can look at
Our friend
for you.
Janet?
Yeah, I can look it up for
All right.
you.
Well, she's doing that. So, how does where'd you go to college in Boston?
I went to Berkeley.
Oh, Berkeley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's either that or be Boston University, one or
Sure.
the other. There's usually nothing else in between. Okay, so you get how when you got out of all right, let me go back.
Sure.
Let me even tax your memory further.
Okay.
At what age or what school level did you start playing instruments? Because you said
Yeah.
your last tour was playing it. You also play saxophone. And
Yeah.
keyboards
I
and-
did start that. I started playing piano when I was 4, so I before school started. Yeah.
Coming from a musical family?
No,
Mom,
not
dad?
really. But my
No?
mom won a piano on a game show, so that's
Hey, your mom was on a game show and
That's
actually
actually-
won something?
that's how she
Nice.
tells it. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So I think that's how there was a piano in our house. So I just banged on it for a while, and then I begged her for lessons. I think when I was 4, and so I started doing like the Suzuki method on piano, which is
Oh.
now I don't really remember a lot of that, but I think it's where you like listen to tapes and then try to play along.
Try to
them.
play along,
Yeah, or
okay.
try to learn from listening. And then so I did that for a few years, and then started playing saxophone with the school band. But I started pretty early, like 3rd grade. I started
Okay.
playing saxophone. And then I remember my dad was like, there's a guitar player in town, and you want to take lessons, because he had an old Dan Electro guitar. Remember Dan Electro?
Yes, I remember that name.
Jimmy
Not sure I
Page
ever
played
saw
one.
Okay.
And it had kind of looked like a yin yang. It was like black and white, and it had like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Is that what that is?
That's a Dan Electro.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jimmy Page kind of made him famous because he played one for just a little bit. He was known for playing a Les Paul, but
Kind of looked like a black and white cookie.
Kind of, yeah.
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 Swirl. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. So he had one of those, and I remember I had bunk beds, and I jumped from the top bunk onto the guitar and broke the neck. And I was probably like 3 or 4 or something like that. No, I must have been a little older. I don't think a 3-year-old's jumping off a bunk bed,
Bunk bed.
but anyways, I might have been 5 or 6 or something. Broke the neck on his guitar, and he was pretty upset about that. But he's like, "Do you want to play the guitar?" Because I was always like,
That's your penalty.
yeah, right. yeah. That's like when you get caught smoking and they make you smoke the whole
A whole
pack.
pack.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna break my guitar. You're gonna learn how to play this thing.
That's right. And you're gonna get good enough where you buy me another one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I was always digging out his guitar and breaking it and doing, So he's like, "Do you actually want to learn how to play it?" I remember him asking me that, and I said, "Yeah." So, yeah, I probably started playing guitar 4th, 5th grade, something like that.
Okay.
And so, so piano, saxophone. I was playing a little violin back then too.
Oh.
But I didn't really stick with that one. But and then in high school started fooling around on the drums and bass was one. I don't want to put down bass players, but like if you know how a guitar works, you can pretty much translate that over. I mean, it's a whole other art in itself, and I'm not like a great bass player or anything, but I understand how it works, so I can
You
get
could
by.
do it in a pinch.
Yeah, I can do it in a pinch.
There
Yep.
you go.
Yeah. I could be in a U2 cover band on bass.
Oh,
That's basically my skill level.
me too.
Not to put down
Air
Adam
bass.
Clayton, but yeah.
So okay. So then, well, if that's the case, what did you grow up listening to?
So early on, it was a lot of classic rock,
Okay.
Led Zeppelin. My parents, they didn't necessarily listen to a ton of music, but there was Beatles and there was Elton John and things like that. And a lot of classical music was around.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mozart and things like that. So that's kind of got me started. I went through a weird rap phase in 5th grade, because everybody's listening to rap and stuff. And then I tried to impress a girl in 6th grade.
I'm glad you're out. I'm glad
Yeah,
you're
I'm
outgrowing
out.
it.
Yeah. In 6th grade, there was a girl that was really into the Grateful Dead, and so to
In
impress.
6th grade?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, her parents were deadheads, and
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say that had to be a learned behavior.
Yeah.
That's not something. Okay.
so I was like, I'll impress her, and so I was like, yeah, I like the Grateful Dead too, and so I kind of like pretended for a little while, but then I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, I actually like it. Much to my grandparents' dismay, they didn't approve of that, but
No,
but
they usually do.
no. So that's started that trend, and then the Dead kind of were my gateway into Fish, and I really just at that point the Dead were old guys. Yeah, it wasn't really my generation, but I dig it.
Define old.
Well, let's just say
Should we go there?
No. I wouldn't kid
I'm
you.
just saying they were not my generation.
I
You know
don't-
what
I
I
don't
mean?
want you
As
talking
much as
about
I like it, Fish was more my generation of they had energy, and jumping around on stage and stuff. It felt more like something that I could
Yeah, you
relate to. So that kind of got me into that early on. And but yeah, the Doors were a big influence early on. Stevie Ray Vaughan, all that stuff.
So see, so far he's hit 2 out of my 3 favorite bands:
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Led Zeppelin
Yeah.
and the Doors.
Okay. What am I missing? 'Cause-
Rush.
Oh, Rush, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Actually, one
Creed?
of the coolest stories I've ever heard. My former bandmate
Mhm.
and a local musician named Frank Clayton
Mhm.
just sold his '68 Telecaster bass,
Mm.
Fender Telecaster
Wow.
bass,
Why?
to Geddy Lee of Rush.
No way, really?
Oh.
He just threw a picture of it up on a bass guitar site, just
Yeah.
so it's all cleaned up. Check out what I got, type of thing.
Mhm.
And Geddy Lee's bass tech saw it, and Geddy was looking to add one to his. I think it's
Wow.
60, maybe a 63. I don't know what it was, but it's a rare bass.
Yeah, yeah.
And Geddy could not find one in the style
That's
or
amazing.
color that he wanted, and Geddy Lee sent him a picture. So Frank,
Wow.
thanks for the bass, and signed
Wow,
Geddy
really?
holding the bass when he got it, and a signed
Wow.
book. So
Are they
Cool.
playing anymore? Rush?
no,
Or they're
Rush
done, right?
Rush is done.
Yeah, they're done.
They're pretty much. They haven't announced that they're done, but
Yeah.
I have inside sources
Okay.
that
Yeah.
tell me that's the truth. I know one of a guy I know, his cousin is their head lighting
Oh, okay.
engineer.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah.
They're pretty much done.
Well, that's a shame, but
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen every Rush tour.
Have you
since-
really?
At least one show since Permanent Waves in
Wow.
1980.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's
So you've seen your share of Rush.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, never gets old.
Yeah. Yeah. They're incredible.
They are.
Incredible musicians.
So is that so you listen to all those various things?
Yep. And you know, another big influence was the Allman Brothers.
Oh,
I
yeah?
really love the Allman Brothers. I grew up with that too. I had were one of my early high school bands. The bass player and the drummer were brothers, and their dad got them into the Allman Brothers. So we started playing like Blue Sky and Jessica and those
Oh.
kind of things, and that just really got us into that.
Into the Almonds.
Mhm.
How about that?
So
So how does that turn into you going to LA and how do you
Yeah.
get hooked up with American Idol? I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, so you know, got into college, and that was actually more. I got really into jazz for a while, and that's what took me to Berkeley.
okay.
And so I was trying to learn just more about, you know, how music works and things like that. And at a certain point, after you know how like you play music to get away from homework.
Yeah.
Once music is your homework,
Yeah.
then you look for something else to just, you know, you don't do that anymore. So I was getting sick of like learning jazz and practicing and stuff. So then I was like, okay, I want to get more back into
Who were you getting into in jazz?
well, kind of like Pat Metheny
Okay.
and of course Miles Davis.
More of a fusion type of thing?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I like a lot of different stuff, but you know, the Coltrane stuff is all great. But you know, as far as guitarists, yeah, there was a couple of different bands like Tribal Tech. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they were a great fusion band. There's a guy named Robin Ford who's a great
Yeah.
guitarist. You know Robin, right?
Mhm.
And so, you know, I was trying to just, you know, listen to a lot of that Larry Carlton kind of stuff and
Yeah.
learn all that sort of vocabulary on the guitar. But once it became my homework to do that, then I went back to like more of like just the rock and the singer-songwriter stuff, you know?
Remember Larry Coryell?
Yeah, sure.
I was actually fortunate enough to interview Larry about 3 months before he passed
Oh,
away,
wow. Yeah.
which was sudden. That was,
Yeah.
You know,
That was
But,
sudden. Yeah, I
great
remember
guy,
that.
great
Yeah.
guy. Him and I actually also spoke to, and this, well, I can't think of a nicer man,
Yeah.
John McLaughlin.
Oh, yeah.
And that whole, I mean, he was just incredible. The stories that man could tell
Oh, yeah.
through that whole jazz fusion.
But yeah, like I was really into the Mahavishnu Orchestra
Were
and
you?
all that stuff. Yeah. So I listened to Al Di Meola too.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
I was really into.
Mhm.
All that stuff at that point. But then I was like, well, at a certain point, I want people to like, I want to be a little bit more listenable, mainstream kind of thing. So when college was over, I thought, oh, you know, LA seems to be, you know, a place where a lot of music is happening. I knew a few people there. I had some family there. It was really interesting because I'd never met them. I just knew I had family out there. And it was like, they were so kind to just be like, yeah, just come stay with us, you know, even though we'd never met or anything. Like it was my mom's cousins or something like that. But they took me in and, you know, gave me a place to stay for a couple of months till I got my feet on the ground. And yeah, I just started playing out there. And it's funny how the American Idol thing happened. There were just a lot of auditions going on, and a couple people I started playing with said, you know, you should get in touch with this guy. He holds auditions for bands. So I went and I auditioned for all these like pretty big bands, you know, and sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. And the American Idol one, they just gave me a call like any other day. You know, there's an audition. They didn't even tell me what it was for. Really, I didn't really know what the show was.
Okay.
And
You didn't tell them
yeah, and so I go down there, and it was like, you know, usually there's like, you know, a couple people milling around in SIR or something, just hanging out waiting to audition. There were like hundreds of people there to audition for this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh boy, you know. And so they were bringing us in groups. They were like putting bands together. Like, you know, okay, we need a guitarist, a drummer, a bass. You know, you five go in and figure out what to do and play. And I just remember like Randy Jackson was sitting there watching, and because he was more, you know, like of all the judges, he was like the musician.
Yes, he
you
was,
know, you know,
He knew
the
what
other
was
guys
going
were
on.
just like, you know,
Singers.
well, yeah,
Celebrities,
Paula was
yeah.
a singer, and Simon was more just like a talent
Producer.
scout, yeah, and a
Yeah.
producer. But Randy, like, is a real deal musician. You know, played with Journey and Mariah and everything.
Yeah.
So he was in there like actually paying attention, to, like picking the guys in the band. And I thought, oh, you know, there's like hundreds of guitar players here, and I was like, what am I gonna do to like set myself apart? And most people were just kind of like picking a little bit and strumming. And I was like, well, yeah, enough of that. So I hit like my big distortion pedal or something, and just went into a big solo. just to set myself apart
Yeah,
from
you
it
gotta
all.
do it, right?
And I was like, well, I don't know if that'll work, but at least I gave it a shot. You know, I mean, I didn't
Mhm.
just sit in the background and strum my
Mhm.
guitar. And the next day I got a call from him. So that worked
Nice.
out.
That, worked. That was a good gamble.
Yeah, it was a really good
Yeah.
gamble. So yeah, and that was a lot of fun. That was a really big learning experience just to be on such a professional, like, you know, like 8 buses kind of tour. And
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
every
wow.
night was, you know, I'm much more of like a sort of like go with the flow, kind of like, you know, happy go lucky, like, oh yeah, we're gonna play today, sure, why not? And if not, like, no big deal. And this is like, you better be there at 3 o'clock, you know, tuned up and ready to go. And like, if you're there at 3:01, like that's a problem.
You're
You know?
fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So did you play when they were auditioning, or you played the tour?
This is the tour,
So
yeah.
you went around the tour.
Yep.
once
So
they
I went around.
finished.
Yep. So yeah, I played. Where did the Nets used to play? On, you know what I'm talking, like,
New Jersey Nets.
yeah, like
The
East
Brendan-
Rutherford Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan Byrne Arena.
Yeah, so I played there, and we didn't do Madison Square Garden. We just, you know, played around New York City and stuff. We played Pepsi Center in Albany and some big places. So it was a really cool experience for me. That's like a bucket list thing to just play for that many people.
There you go.
See?
Bucket list, yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
You have to get on American Idol now.
609-241-7103. First caller will get a copy of Chris Eves and the New Normals album, which is called
Find Your Way.
Find Your Way.
I posted the picture out there. You can see it's also on your website.
Yeah.
So that picture is on his cover of his
Okay.
website.
Which is your website again?
Chris Eves and the newnormal.com.
Go. Let's do some more music.
Sure, I'll play something.
Oh, okay.
Woo.
Woo. There you go. What you want to play?
This song's actually called New Normal.
There you go.
The
What a treat.
semi-title cut.
Yeah. Is that coming through all right?
Oh, yeah.
I know the secret you've been hiding. It's the same one that I have too. Stay with me, don't worry about confiding in another outcast just like you. Odds against have you believing you're the black sheep, girl that's got it wrong. But you're not the only one who's feeling like you're where you really don't belong. With 2 square pegs, living in a world that's round, waiting in the lost and found for someone to claim us, but together we'll find our way. Cares if we don't fit inside any other box they try using to frame us. Cares if they'll see things differently. Make a new normal just for you and me. The road we're on always leaves us hollow, broken hearted, lost and out of place. Maybe there's another path to follow. Maybe we got bigger dreams to chase. With 2 square pegs, living in a world that's round, waiting in the lost and found for someone to claim us, but together we'll find our way. Who cares if we don't fit inside any other box they try using to frame us? Cares if they'll see things differently. We'll make a new normal just for you and me. And it's a right turn back to left of center. It's never easy when you're all on your own. You're at the edge, just steps away from falling. I've grown fond of calling this place home. With two square pegs, living in a world that's round, waiting in the lost and found for someone to claim us, but together we'll find our way. Cares if we don't fit inside any other box they try using to frame us. Cares if they'll see things differently. We'll make a new normal just for you and me.
Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal. Very nice.
Thank you.
Wow.
Very
I love
cool.
that.
Thanks
That's
very
great.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, you like that?
I love it.
Okay.
That one,
I don't just like it. I
Oh.
love it.
that one I wrote way before I met my wife, but it applies to her. It's like about
Mhm.
finding somebody that's just as weird as you are, and it makes you feel normal. Because I feel like that all the time. Like I'm a weird, like, dance in my pajamas in the living room kind of guy by myself, you know?
That's not so weird.
Yeah, you know, well, you know, it's the things you don't let other people see, though, you know what I mean? And then you find somebody that's like, I'm good with that. I'm just as weird as you. And then you're like, oh, we're normal together, you know?
That's right.
That's why I like that song.
That's right.
Yeah.
See?
Mhm.
Or you dance it like the Hopewell Hayride.
You could try.
Or it's just scratching his head. I look to you for backup, and you just hide and scratch your head.
He was there. He understands.
There's no help.
No, no. Dancing in your pajamas in your own living room. That's cool.
Yeah.
But in front of
I
the
think it's
hayride,
cool.
no.
That's
Well,
cool.
next time I'm up in Syracuse, I'm gonna wear my pajamas and dance in his living room.
There you go.
And
Well,
wear
you're
it backwards
invited.
and
Yeah.
it'd be snowing.
I was thinking it would be fun to do a show of just a pajama party show.
Yeah.
Because there's a band, I don't know if you heard of this band called Pigeons Playing Ping Pong. They're like in the jam scene.
Okay.
Anyways, but the lead singer, every show wears pajama pants. And I was like, what a great scam.
Yeah.
Like, you get to be comfortable at every show. Like, everybody else is wearing like skin tight jeans and leather pants and stuff. And he's like, nah, it's going to be my thing to wear pajama pants. I was like, that's genius. You're just comfortable all the time.
Right? Or you're like Flea and you wear just a
Oh,
sock.
well, that, you know, that's,
That's okay.
That's called being comfortable in your own skin.
That's weird.
Wow. Yeah. He's very rich.
Yeah.
That's
That is
okay.
great. So when you said something before you started to perform that tune there, you said, it's kind of neat to look out and play in front of a bucket list type
Yeah,
of thing, to play in
sure.
front of all those people. One of the first long talks I had with Richie Shalanda was on that same subject. That's one of my bucket list items, to play in front
Yeah.
of tens of thousands of people, or at least a crowd of, like, in a small arena, 10,
Yeah.
12,000 people.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's like.
It's surreal. It really is. I mean, it's like one of those things where you think about what it's going to be like when you're a kid, and it pretty much is. It's just as exciting. Like, actually, a couple of years ago, I got to sit in with the Zach Brown Band too at,
Oh,
at
nice.
Saratoga Performing Arts Center, and I don't know what the capacity there is, but it's 10,000 or something like that. And I found, with American Idol and with the Zach Brown Band, it's easier. I thought it would be a lot harder. I'd be a lot more nervous. You don't see anybody. It's just,
Right.
it's almost like playing in your bedroom.
Because the lights are so
Yeah,
bright.
yeah. So you don't see like one person. Like when you play a club or something, you can see that guy with his arms folded, just kind of like, what else you got? But with that, it's just like, first of all, that many people together, the energy's so much better, and it carries you. It like picks you up, and like they want to be into it and everything like that. So that energy kind of carries you, but also you don't see individual faces. You know what I mean? It's all dark, and you just see a sea of people.
You hear them.
Right. You hear them, and you
Right.
see a sea of people, and it's just like you're imagining it in your bedroom. It just seems. I mean, it takes that sort of fear of like one-to-one thing out of the equation. It's just like playing to this mass of people, and I just found it easier. It's fun.
True, because a few years back, I was sent to cover Yestival
Mm-hmm.
in Camden, New Jersey, at the waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can see Philadelphia across the river. And I went down there, and one of the bands that was playing was Renaissance, in which, you know, Richie was playing guitar for Renaissance at the time. And I'm sitting there I had seats, I guess, about 12, 14 rows from the stage because I'm reviewing the show and everything, and usually get really good tickets. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Richie on stage. And I'm like, geez, like 5 days ago, we were playing the Cedar Pub in
Right.
Hamilton for like 18 people.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
now he's in front of 18,000.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's really cool
But
experience.
yeah, I think playing for 18 people gets you ready for that, though. You know what I mean? I think you need to play for like 18 or 15 people and just get your nerves out that way. You know what I mean? And like, if you can win over 15 people, I think that's harder.
Do you
know?
remember your
Yeah, it's
first
more
gig?
intimate.
Well, other than like Christmas recitals, probably it was yeah, it was at a coffee house. I remember with one of my first bands, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I think we had like 2 songs, you know, and one was just like I think one was they were original, which is kind of cool. They weren't like covers, but I think the chord progression was the same as All Along the Watchtower with different lyrics, you know. But yeah, it was one of those things where like you're just like, oh, I'm doing this. Okay, cool. You know, it was exciting. And I remember like making my first CD with a band in high school and all that stuff. You're just like, oh, we're really doing this. I mean, it's cool.
It's a
It's
whole
cool.
and I don't know about you, but for me, it never gets old.
No, it doesn't. You're like, you know, even though at this point in my career, it's still like I'm basically a mover that plays for an hour. You know, like most of my job is moving heavy equipment from one place to another with a little bit of music in between. But I'm a professional mover basically. And but it never gets old. Like even like wrapping up my cables at the end of a night, I'm like, cool. Like, you know, like,
That's when you love what you do.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should get some new cables. Oh, that'd be fun. I'm a gear addict, so you know, I get all like the Musician's Friend Sweetwater catalogs.
Oh, there you go.
you know.
Musician's Friend.
Yeah.
Actually, the best $20 I ever spent was on Musician's Friend.
Yeah.
It was for this. Did you ever see those things that they have in the kitchen to open up jars and stuff?
Yeah, like
that
Yeah.
That's like a why.
there's like spongy stuff
Oh,
that
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Well, they sell a drum mat that's 4x4
Oh.
put underneath
yeah.
the drum kit, so
Yeah.
the bass drum doesn't move.
Oh. and I
That thing
bet
is
that
like
works great.
Velcro.
Yeah.
It was only like $20,
Really?
including shipping. I said,
Wow.
let me give this a try. What's $20?
Yeah.
Right? That's the best $20 I ever spent.
Wow.
So
Oh, I might buy one of those then.
why not? if your amp walks, put it
Yeah.
on, and nothing
Right.
nothing
Nothing
moves.
will
on
move,
this.
huh?
Nothing moves. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Is it durable though too? Like, because the drums
Yeah.
would like dig in.
well, you figure I got bass drum spikes in.
Yeah, and it's fine.
Now, if something happens on one of the spikes, they're always pointed.
Yeah.
But they have rubber feet on them.
Sure.
But if they make their way through the rubber feet,
Yeah,
even, it nicks it up. But I don't have any tears or any kind of,
okay.
so it's a really good thing. When you do things and you know, big breaks come along, like you talked about American Idol.
Yeah.
How'd you get the Zach Brown thing? What happened there?
Well, I go way back with a couple of the members in the band.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're just cool, and they were like, I was doing a gig in the area, in the Saratoga area, the night before, and just luckily I had my stuff with me because I was playing a gig, and I was like, oh, well, we'll come hang out with you today. He's like, you got your amp with you and your guitar? I said, yeah. He's like, well, you want to play tonight? And I was like, well, okay, sure. So that changes the whole equation real quick. That the day of, you know, like they called me the day of and said like, hey, you want to play tonight? And so you go from like, oh, we're just gonna chill out today and watch a concert and relax, to being like, oh god, like,
Gotta bone up and
what's
everything.
and
From
so,
the stage.
so originally they go, cool, well, we're just gonna play Whipping Post, you know, Allman Brothers tune. I said, great, you know, I know that one really well and I've played it a bunch of times. And then we get there and they go, no, Zach doesn't want to play that tonight. You know, you can play this song, and it was Keep Me in Mind, one of their songs. Right. And I've heard it before, but I'd never learned it or anything like that. So I had like an hour to learn it, you know, and then go out in front of 10,000 people and like solo over it and do it, you know, play all the parts and stuff. But they were so nice about it, and you know, I had like a little green room back there, and just got to, you know, had my iPhone up to my ear and my guitar and just trying to pick it out real quick and just went out and did it, you know.
Learn it, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, but so I have good friends in that band that have, you know, hooked me up and stuff. I've sung with them on stage too before. Like there was a tour before this where they needed a choir on stage, so I was just a voice in the choir. But yeah, so I've done stuff with them before, and you know, we go way back. But this time was different just because it was like me out there by my, you know,
playing guitar,
doing my thing. Yeah. So, but that was a lot of fun. And that's on my website if anyone wants to like check that out. There's a YouTube video, of that
which is
cool.
ChrisEvesandTheNewNormal.com.
There you go.
And it's in the event.
We're gonna get to some more music in a second. Yeah, and that too never gets old.
No.
I mean, I've never had that pleasure of what you're talking about, but I mean, I personally have been pretty lucky. Like I did those tunes with Al Stewart.
Yeah.
Ed Roland of Collective Soul.
Oh yeah.
Ed had a side project. It was called the Sweet Tea Project, and it's a great band, great album. And they did a concert in Ewing Township, New Jersey, across from the college in New Jersey at a Methodist church. His capacity was 300. It was packed. Yeah. And I was speaking to Ed prior to probably about a week before the show, and he's like, "So, did you do percussion?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Bring your stuff. You can jam with us."
Yeah.
He goes, "You can play with us, you know, as many songs as you want." So I sat down and learned the entire Sweet Tea Project album, the percussion that they use. I happen to have every instrument on the album. I happen to have claves, this, that, the other thing. We get there, and Ed says, "You know what?" He goes, "I'll tell you what. Instead of doing the whole night, I'll just bring you up for the last 3 or 4."
Oh yeah. But still, that's still cool.
But we get up there, and he calls me up. Me and Sophia, actually.
Yeah.
Soph did the backing vocals. And he calls me up, and he does not do one Sweet Tea Project tune. I'm up there doing Collective Soul tunes.
Right.
You know, December, Shine.
Well, that's how it goes
and it's
all
like,
the time, you know.
You go with it.
Yeah, you just think you know what you're in for, and then they change it on you. And as with my music too, you know, guys will show up and it's like, "Okay, we know all your tunes." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm feeling like doing this tonight," you know. So I've been on both ends of that, you know. And but I guess, you know, you and I know what other musicians go through when the artist says, you know, I feel like changing it up tonight. And you're like, "Oh."
Correct.
But you know, that's part of the gig, is just being professional and being a musician, right? And just listening and going, all right, I can handle this, and that's how you grow, I think. You know,
exactly. There was I also did a thing where I was in the house band for a tribute to Sam Cooke, and I was the guy that was in charge of the music director for the house band with Doug Wimbush of Living Colour, right?
Sure.
So it's me, Doug, this keyboard player from Philly, and a drummer from Philly, session guys, Dave and Calvin, and then Paul Pesco, who plays guitar for
with
Daryl's House.
Yeah, Daryl Hall. Yeah.
Alicia Keys and Madonna.
Yeah,
he's playing guitar. He's phenomenal, right? And then there's me on percussion. I'm like, pinch me, right?
Well, that's awesome, though.
So the gig was until 7 o'clock that night. We had to be there at 10 o'clock in the morning for rehearsals because we had to back up Gary U.S. Bonds and Sarah Dash from LaBelle and Corey Glover of Living Colour.
He's incredible.
He's amazing. And there was a whole bunch of different, Chris Trapper from the Push Stars, Jeffrey Gaines. There was a whole bunch of different people, right? So Gary U.S. Bonds comes in. He's the first one there. Comes in an Adidas tracksuit, right? And he comes in, he sits down, he says, you know, his 3 tunes are going to be Change Is Going to Come, and We're Having a Party. And then I can't remember what the third one was. But anyway, so Gary was the headliner. He's on last. He goes, "Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with." Now, I knew Gary a little bit from interviewing him several other times. He's called this program and so on and so forth. And Gary looks at me and goes, "I'm not sure what I want to do with We're Having a Party." I said, "Well, why don't you start it like Southside?" Shh. Don't say his name. He's like Beetlejuice. He might show up. Because he's good friends with Southside Giant. He starts laughing. So at that point, he says, "Yeah," he goes, "I'll figure it out." So we come to the show, and the order of songs, he did the whatever the first one was, I can't remember. And then the second one was supposed to be "We're Having a Party,"
Mhm.
and I had tried to get him to do that last, to
Right.
close it on a high beat
Yeah,
up
sure.
note, you
That's
know.
good.
And he didn't say anything. So we get to the thing, and he turns around and announces that the second tune, rather than "We're Having a Party," is "Changes." The change is gonna come. And we all looked at each other in the house band. Doug Wimbush looked back to me with panic on his face, like,
Yeah.
you know, because I was the closest to Gary,
Right.
and I'm trying to get his attention, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Gary. Finally, he's on the mic, and he turns around and he looks at me and he says, "Excuse me, change may be coming faster than we think.
Yeah.
Let me talk to my Caucasian friend back here." And he turns around and goes, "What do you want, son?" I
Yeah.
said, "You're on the wrong song."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I'm not." And he
Yeah.
winks at me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
then he sings that, and he comes back and
Yeah.
he starts it a cappella, just like Southside.
Yeah.
And he turns around and looks at me again, gives me another wink.
Right.
And I was like, "You busted my chops," right? But it's just moments like
Well, you
that.
know what? Also, when you can't get too mad about that because they're feeling the crowd.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they're getting a vibe, and they go, "Okay, I know it's going to go over well now." You know, and you knew it all along, but then you feel the energy goes, "Oh yeah, you were right." You know.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
it was kind of funny.
Mhm.
And, it was, and you can hear it. We recorded it. We broadcasted that live for 40 Foot Hole Studios Radio. You can hear it on the mic. That and Doug Wimbush introduces the house band at the end of the night, and he says, and he goes, "And on percussion, what's your name again?"
That happened to the bass player in the Zach Brown band, who I go back with. We were doing a show, or I don't know if I was in it, but I was watching it, and the leader of the band goes, "And on bass, the bass player." He was so
He
mad.
drew a blank.
Yeah.
If you want to give us a call, 609-241-7103, please do so. What do you want to do for music now, my friend? All right.
New one.
Ooh, another new one.
Might have to tune up.
Do we have a title for this album yet?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. It hasn't come to me yet.
All right. Is that how you arrive at them? You just kind of...
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the last record, "Find Your Way," it's the song title on one of the cuts, and it felt right just because I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go with everything, and so that and my wife said, "Why don't you call it Find Your Way?" I was like, "All right." So I'm just waiting for her to have another epiphany
Another
moment.
epiphany? Yeah.
Good idea.
She might want to call it Sort of.
Sort of. Well, all I meant by that was that it can apply to others.
Oh, yeah.
But this one's called "Light the Fuse." I confess, I'm not sure if I can really handle this, 'cause holding on to you might be too dangerous. You do something to me that I can't deny. I don't care what's at stake. I got a feeling you might be the best mistake a guy like me could ever really hope to make. So I don't give a damn about the warning signs. Bless this reckless heart, won't stop till it starts to burn the bridge down. I know desire keeps tripping me, as fire's got a grip on me, just won't let me go. 'Cause I can't stop thinking about you day or night. Baby, I'm the match, you're the dynamite. What are we waiting for? We got nothing there to lose. Why don't we just light the fuse? We push and pull. We both know this chemistry's combustible. With every missing piece, we find the puzzle. Leads us to another place to cross the line. Still, I'm chasing after This feeling that my pulse keeps racing faster. We're bound to be a beautiful disaster. Baby, we both know it's a matter of time. But bless this reckless heart won't stop till it starts to burn the bridge down. I know desire keeps tripping me. This fire's got a grip on me, just won't let me go. 'Cause I can't stop thinking about you day or night. Baby, I'm the match, you're the dynamite. What we waiting for? We got nothing left to lose. Why don't we just stop the fuse? You look just like the right kind of wrong for me. So I'm gonna take my chances. I was never meant to be. 'Cause I can't stop thinking about you day or night. Baby, I'm the match, you're the dynamite. What are we waiting for? We got nothing left to lose. Why don't we just stop the fuse?
Beautiful. Chris
Thank you.
Eves of Chris Eves and the New
Wow.
Normal.
That's a new one.
Like it.
Thank you.
My new favorite.
Like it. Like it. You get some pretty cool lyrics, man.
Thanks, man.
A lot
Appreciate it.
of the way it's
His phrasing is
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It is.
What was that
Great.
line just now about
Dangerous.
right but wrong for me?
Oh, the right kind of wrong for me?
Right kind of wrong. Yeah.
Or the dangerous. What's the?
Oh, yeah. Holding on to you might prove too dangerous. That one? Yeah. Yeah. That one's not based on anyone I know in particular, but about like, you know, a
Mhm.
bad relationship, but you go for it anyways, you know?
Yeah.
Because why not?
Because you can light the fuse.
There's a whole bunch of reasons why not.
Yeah.
That's only after you get burned.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is true. I think I have Acme Exploding Cigar Company.
You've been there.
You smoke cigars?
I don't know.
Oh.
I've never smoked anything.
Okay. You know, me people I've been a rock musician for,
Mhm.
44 years, I guess. I did my first gig when I was 13.
Wow.
Played my first public appearance when I was 12. I'd been
Wow.
playing the drums for about 6 months.
That's
and
awesome.
My teacher's band was playing a gig
Yeah.
at a picnic
Yeah.
for a club that my father belonged to, an
Oh, wow.
organization. And they brought me up,
That's awesome.
played the Beatles
Yeah.
version of Twist and Shout.
Oh, perfect.
You know?
That's a good one.
And that was my first gig in front of people.
That's awesome. Yep.
And then I got in my first band. My first gig was I was 14.
Okay.
I got into my first band right before my 14th birthday,
Wow.
and then like 3 months later we did a gig.
Yeah.
We didn't know
In a
much.
bar?
No.
Okay.
In a backyard,
Cool.
somebody's wedding.
Yeah.
My little brother's got a
Yeah.
band. Okay, he could play.
Yeah.
We knew like 7 tunes. Played "Proud Mary" by Creedence Clearwater 6 or 7
Yeah.
times.
Do that one a few times.
Yeah, you do that. People loved it.
But I'm sure you played underage in bars and stuff, right?
Drinking age was 18.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was a long time.
But
ago.
when I did my first bar gig, I was 17.
Yeah. Yep.
Almost 18
yeah.
years old.
My band did that too, and our parents came with us. So, bartenders or the bar owners, like, if your parents are with you, we'll make it work, But
Right.
it was probably pushing the limit there a little bit. But, oh well.
That's what we do.
Yeah,
As
exactly,
musicians,
yeah.
Push the limits.
Well, what do you like?
You have
Like
to
that's
make-
where music
yeah,
happens,
yeah.
Like it's like if you're a painter or whatever. I don't know. That's a bad example, but like you go to where that happens,
Right.
So like
Yeah. If you're a house painter, you don't do it in the
Right.
street.
right. Or if you're a gymnast, you go to the gym.
That's
like
exactly
if you're a
right.
musician, you got to go to a bar.
You got to go where the music
Yeah,
happens.
exactly.
I mean, as much as I tried to go like directly to Carnegie Hall, but
Mhm.
I'm still waiting on that court date.
Practice.
Yeah.
What was your favorite gig you ever did? Remember? You got one?
So that's a good question.
I mean, Zach Brown's pretty cool.
That's really cool. Gosh, okay. So I did get to play with the drummer from Fish a
Nice.
little while ago. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was probably one of the big highlights for me, just because they're my favorite band. And so he sat in and I got to play with him. That's probably one of the top things for me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
See that?
Mhm.
Fish with a PH.
Yep, with a PH.
I
Yep.
like Ben and Jerry's.
And it's funny because a lot of my music doesn't
Fish.
really necessarily sound like Fish or anything, but it's just
This
The
is true.
influence.
Yeah.
I haven't picked up on it.
No,
I
but
picked
it-
up on
but-
the Foo Fighters in
Yeah.
the very first tune. but
yeah.
I-
I mean, I'm kind of musically, my taste is all over the place, but they inspire me just in the sense of like the freedom they have in jamming and stuff. So, but I'm also very influenced by just like good songwriters and stuff like. Sting, like I was really into the Police and U2 and all
Okay.
that stuff. And so my idea was always to be like, can I fit like, even though as much as I like Fish, like a lot of their lyrics are nonsense, well, not nonsense. I'm going to get hate for that, but but you know what I mean? It's not like it's poetry in its own way,
Right.
but a lot of it isn't like, something that you're like, oh yeah, like
It means
it's,
something.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so for me, it was always like, can I take the stuff that I love from like great songwriters, James Taylor or whatever, and then can I also musically live like jam on it
Mhm.
and improvise over it, like from jazz or from jam bands and things like that, and try to put that all together. And it's a hard thing. I'm still trying to find that right recipe of like, because you have these songs, and it's like they might not work to like improvise and jam over because they're just their own songs.
Mhm.
Right.
But then you have these other things that are just good to jam on, but they're not really like complete songs,
Mhm.
I think my goal at some point is to find that secret recipe where it's like, oh, this is a great song, but it also lends itself to like as a launching pad to like really improvise off of and really take it somewhere. So
Nice.
I don't know, still working on it.
Mhm.
So, well, what's the end game? actually? What are we?
I don't know.
What are we going to do here with you?
I'd love to be on Dave's pick for Madison Square Garden next year. Let's do that.
There you go.
Let's do
Yeah,
that.
Wow. Yes.
You spoke
debate.
earlier. You spoke earlier about if you were 301, you were pretty much fired from
Yeah.
the tour.
Yeah.
That you said Dave Vargo, our friend Dave Vargo,
right,
good friend of
yeah.
ours, a buddy of mine, a guy I've been fortunate to have met some years back. His first, he played guitar for Whitney Houston for
Oh,
a few
yeah.
years.
Cool.
And he said they rehearsed for months.
Yeah.
He said the first time he ever laid eyes on Whitney was when they were at Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden,
For the-
and she walked out on stage.
Yep.
So he said they were during one of the solos, he kind of improvised a little bit. He said
Oh.
the next morning he woke up under the hotel room door was a note saying, "Do not do that.
Don't do that again."
Don't come back." type
Oh
deal.
my gosh.
So you had to play it exactly
Yeah.
like they wanted you to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, no, I didn't feel any of that restriction on American Idol. I mean, you played your parts, but when it came time to do a little solo or something, like I just
They let you go.
yeah, let me go. I mean, within a time frame.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah,
like
I
an
know.
open jam thing. It was, but I had 16 bars and I could do with it what I wanted to. So that was cool. And I think when you got that kind of caliber musician that Whitney probably had, let them do their thing. Although I understand also the consistency of it.
because people expect to hear.
Yeah.
You know,
I think people have changed. That there was a time I think where people were like, I want to hear exactly what I heard on the record, because that's what I'm used to.
Mhm.
I think people are starting to be like, I want to hear something different than the record, like I want to hear the same song, but what else you got, because now you hear like, even like in the pop world, like Justin Timberlake or Beyonce or anything like that, they have music directors that go in and rearrange all their hits. So it's something different live than it was on the record, just to
Right.
make it a little more exciting or,
Mhm.
something
or
different.
stageable.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
a lot of
Right.
times there's so many effects and things.
Right.
that
Yeah,
you can't-
exactly.
Vocally, yeah,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift new one out. I was
Yeah.
saying to my girls, I'm like, it sounds like she's like somewhere in the way in the back. How are they ever gonna reproduce that live? You just
Right.
can't. It's
Yeah.
just an effect.
How do you? I mean, your music sounds pretty reproducible.
I hope so. Yeah.
that's great.
I mean, I try to be as honest as I can with it. I just play it, record it, and not a lot of tricks to it. You know what I mean? It's just play and sing and have good musicians, and all the music that we've heard tonight, great musicians played on it, from Syracuse and stuff. So I think that's the key. Great producers, great engineers and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I want to be able to go live and just, not have like have like a sitar on it or like a harp on it, because then it's like, what do you do live, you know?
Right.
So try to keep it really reproducible.
Reproducible,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
you know. We've got about 4 minutes left. Do you have a tune that's right around 3-minute mark that we can?
3 minutes. Yeah, I can figure something out. You want to
Okay,
play one?
sure.
Okay.
Why not? We'll do that, and we'll come back and wrap it up. And if you're just tuning in, this is Rock on Radio. What were you waiting for?
Me?
Not you.
Wait, what's that?
I said, this. If you're just tuning in, what were you waiting for? This is
Oh,
Rock on Radio.
You missed it.
You missed it. We'll be done shortly, actually. Our guest tonight is Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal, and you're going to do something.
This is called Find Your Way off the first record.
There you go.
I bet they never told you that you didn't know. You can make the rules up as you go. There was more than one path to follow. There's only one direction on the posted sign. Just to try to keep you inside the lines. But there's no limit to how far you should go out of your mind. 'Cause you gotta be that old man crazy just to make it through another normal day. And it seems getting lost is maybe what it takes to finally find your way. There's no turning around, there's no looking back. It's all uncharted courses, no one drew the map. When you take your train and jump the track, 'cause you gotta be that old man crazy just to make it through another normal day. And it seems getting lost is maybe what it takes to finally find your way. Cause you gotta be that old man crazy just to make it through another normal day. And it seems getting lost is maybe what it takes to finally find your way.
There he is, Chris Eves. Chris Eves and the New Normal. That's what you call perfect timing.
Hey, well, I shortened that quite a bit. That's an 8-minute song.
I figured he might have.
There you go. So we have a new version of it here. Oh, Chris, we have to wrap it up, but we
Great.
cannot thank you enough.
Hey, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I hope you're still
Had a great
talking to Eugene after this is over. But thank you so much.
Oh, my
for making
pleasure.
The trip
Had a
down
great
from
time.
Syracuse, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a long way. So again, thank you so much, man.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We wish you the best of luck. If
Thank
you're
you.
ever going to be touring or playing any gigs in this area, let us know.
I will. I will.
You know, we're an hour train ride from New York City
Awesome.
and 40 minutes from Philadelphia by car. So
Yeah.
we're
And
right
when
in
you make the
between.
garden,
Yes.
expect.
Yeah.
We'll have
well,
Dave the Rave send you a limo.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I
we'll
hope
have
to
to
see
do
you
that.
guys there. I expect you guys there.
Yeah.
We would love to be there.
Okay, great.
Great, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So much. You have heard Chris Eves of Chris Eves and the New Normal. Next week, we have Jeff Fiedler coming in to tell us about the new big news coming from Aqualung Records.
Mhm.
Jeff, it's always a pleasure to have in the studio.
Yep.
We look very much forward to it. So until then, rock on!